Hi everyone. So it's time for the review of the year for 2020. This year has been so crazy because that feels like it's gone so fast, but at the same time, it's been a long year given the pandemic and everything that's been going on. And as you can probably guess, I haven't got much to review in regards to what I did in my personal life this year because just like the rest of the world, we've been very limited to what we can do. I've just been doing my best staying at home as much as possible, only really going to shops and such when I'm doing food shopping. And yeah, I'm just taking this kind of very seriously with the pandemic. Not that I'm saying that people who go out shopping and such aren't taking it seriously, far from it. It's just that I've kind of gotten myself into a routine from the first lockdown, and I've just kept to that routine, and it's kind of what's been keeping me going properly. But I am in, because I'm a single person household, I'm in a social bubble with my mum and dad, so that means that I can spend time with them. I can't spend time with other households, but I can spend time with them and everything, which has been a real lifeline, especially after the first lockdown, because for that one, for 3 months, I didn't see my mum and dad either. It was just I was completely alone for 3 months, and that was really hard. So that moment when I was able to hug them for the first time in 3 months was absolutely amazing. But I'll never forget, like, every Sunday, my mum, bless her, every Sunday she would cook a Sunday lunch because I didn't have a working oven. I had this whole thing that my oven broke in January. I was saving up for an oven, and right when I was looking to buy one because I had enough money was when the lockdown happened. So I had and that lasted 3 months. So from January through to June, I had no oven. So I was relying on I was making batches of stuff that I could cook on the hob and then freeze, and I used my microwave to reheat. But every single Sunday, my mum would make a full Sunday lunch, have my dad drive over to me and leave it on the doorstep, and there would always be homemade cake in there with it as well, and ice cream and such. And I'm like, oh my god, thank God for my mum. She's absolutely incredible. And my dad was absolutely wonderful as well for bringing that to me, and it was really nice because they live nearby, but we're two separate households, so we had to follow the rules. But they would often have walks around where I live, and they would be right at the end of the driveway, and I'd be obviously by my front door, and we'd be waving to each other, and it was really lovely. But that moment when I got to hug them for the first time after 3 months was really emotional for me, and for them as well. So having them as a social bubble, which got established in June time, and which the government has stuck to through the rest of this year, has been absolutely amazing. And that's why I've kind of done it really seriously, where I just haven't been going out to shops and such. I've done a lot of online shopping, but I haven't been going out to shops to, try and keep the infection levels as low as possible. But we're still battling through this thing, but I'm feeling optimistic for 2021. And I've learned, even though I haven't gone to various trips, I haven't gone to the theatres and all that lot, which I love to do, I've learned that I can cope with something crazy like this. I've put routines in place which I have stuck to, and I've learned that I'm stronger than I thought, or at least I believed I was before 2020. So I see that as a positive thing. So even though it's a bit of a weird review of what I've personally has happened to me in 2020, I think it's important, and I'm really glad it's a positive thing for me to say that I'm stronger than I ever believed I was before 2020. From the purchasing side of things, I did get a brand new telly, a brand new Blu-ray, a brand new oven, and I also got Lego Harry Potter, which has kept me sane throughout this as well. And so there's my book collection, which I'm here to review now. So in 2020, I've looked at, because I keep stats of what I read through the year for this specific reviews that I do at the end of each year. And according to my stats, in 2020, I have gotten through 37 books, which is equivalent of 15,793 pages on this channel. Oh my God, that is insane. When I compare it to the previous year, just to give you some perspective, in 2019, I got through 30 books and read 13,087 pages. So it was quite a significant jump. Obviously, the pandemic helped with that because I wasn't going out at the weekends to go to theatre or cinema and that kind of thing. I was staying home and I'm reading. So I got through 7 more books than the previous year, but I still kept to my thing. It wasn't like I was doing the 1 book a year, 1 book a week for a year thing. As I did in 2016, I was going at my own pace, but I felt I had more of the breathing space, as it were, to read, which I usually would have been taken up with cinema and theatre and visiting friends and family and such. I've really missed not having my sister here, but we have got so many videos planned for you guys for when we are able to get back together. We constantly talk about them. We constantly add things to the list. So yeah, expect lots of videos when we're able to get together. Expect lots of videos from us. So I wanted, before I talk about my best and worst books of the year, I want to just say thank you so much to every single person who has done a thumbs up or thumbs down on any of my videos, watched any of my videos, shared any of my videos, left comments, left recommendations, or subscribed. I am so floored by the numbers of subscribers that I have, the numbers of comments, the discussions I have with the comment sections of my various videos. It's absolutely wonderful. I am a Diddy channel, book channel. I am nothing compared to other ones that are massive, but I did this for fun. I never asked people to subscribe because from my personal experience on YouTube, if somebody tells me to give them a thumbs up, who tells me to subscribe, who tries to, flogging gifts and such, if you subscribe and you subscribe to every single bit of social media and all this stuff, that really angers me, because I subscribe to channels because I want to subscribe to it, not because I'm being told to. And so that's why I'm very, very specific that I never, ever ask people to do that. I never ask people to comment. And with the thumbs up, thumbs down thing that I say at the end of each of my reviews, that's relating to the specific book that I'm talking about. And I say, I'll let you guys decide, because I don't want to tell you what to do. You are your own person. You are able to do what you want to do. And for people to respond the way that they have, I am so floored by everything. So thank you so much. It's wonderful to read your comments and have a bit of back and forth and such, and see what you guys think of things. So just so you're aware, that's why I'm looking at my phone, I got an email from YouTube it was the 12th of December, and it was to do with highlights of the year, because they wanted for 2020, because it's been a bit of a rubbish year, to give various channel owners some stats to let them know what's happened in 2020. And I got these stats, and I've never seen these stats before. And as I said, I'm so totally moved by everything from my channel, and these are the stats I got. So my community has left 820 comments and shared my videos 789 times. Wow. Fans have smashed the like button 1,702 times. This is just in 2020, so I'm like, that's mad. Viewers have spent 101,667 minutes watching your videos in 2020, and your fans can't get enough. Your videos received 465 likes in 2020. You've made 2020 your own. In the past year, you've gained 111 subscribers and 15,418 views, and viewers have spent 101,667 minutes watching your videos in 2020. That is, I can't take that in. I thank you so much, guys, especially in a year like this year, to get those kind of stats. Makes me feel so good about myself. I feel so proud about myself, and I'm like I said, I am a diddy little splash in the water of YouTube. My channel is like nothing compared to others, but it means the world to me. And the fact that you guys have been so positive about what I do and sending me so many great comments and such, it fills my heart with joy. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. So let's get on with this. Let's find out what are my best and worst books of 2020. So yeah, this was a bit of a weird year because I went a whole year without buying a book. I did it, guys. Boxing Day, I did it. I did give myself one book leeway, and that was the recent Cormoran Strike book that came out in September, because when I started the challenge in January, there wasn't any rumours at all that it was going to be published. But the fact that the Cormoran Strike books come out about every 2 years, and 2020 would be 2 years since the previous book, Leave the Wife, came out, I did have a feeling it might do. So I gave myself that one book as a leeway if it got published, and it did get published. But that is the only book I've bought this year. So I did it. I did it, guys. I cleared 37 books out of my to be read bookcase, which, if you remember, I have a whole bookcase for to be read, so that was 6 shelves. There were books stacked on top of the bookcase, and there was overflow into another bookcase. I've gotten that down to just 5 shelves. So I'm like, oh my god, that is, I feel so proud of myself. I'm just, it's so nice to see an empty shelf. A completely empty shelf. It's just, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I've got none of the leftover stack, none of the overflow in the other bookcase. It's just 5 shelves now. So yay. But amongst those books, I had 5 of best reads and 5 worst reads. And I knew exactly which books they were when I came to do this. Usually it takes me ages to figure out what the best and the worst is, and I spend like hours going over it. Nope, not this year. I knew exactly what the top 5 and the bottom 5 were. So let's look at the bottom 5. Okay, at number 5, it's Miranda Seymour's Mary Shelley. I hated the fact that this book about such an interesting woman was so dry, was so long, was so dull, and it went over every single little teeny tiny detail, every little fragment that is written about Mary, but didn't reflect her personality. For me, it just made her so dull and almost lifeless. So yeah, sorry Miranda, you're number 5 for the worst read book this year. At number 4, because it completely grossed me out, it's Perfume. Perfume, The Story of a Murder by Patrick Suskind. This was one of the most disgusting books I have ever read. I totally get why it's this kind of like modern classic, as it were, and I get where the author was coming from, but the way that he describes different scents and the disgusting way that he describes things, it made my stomach turn. So yeah, at number 4, it's Perfume. At number 3, it's Ink by Alice Broadway. The premise was so interesting about things that happen to you in your life appear as tattoos on your body, but what if you did something wrong that you want to not show the world? I get that was such a good premise, and I get what she was trying to do, but at the same time it was just completely lacking, and I was baffled by parts of it, and it just didn't work for me. Didn't work whatsoever. And I have absolutely no interest in reading the rest of the trilogy of books that this is from. This is book 1 of a trilogy. I'm just like, nope, sorry, Alice. Ink's got to go into number 3. At number 2, given what I said about this book, I'm surprised it's number 2, but it is number 2. It's We See Everything by William Sutcliffe. This book just, again, such an interesting dystopian novel premise, but at the same time, it kept on contradicting itself. Bits of it didn't make any sense. And overall, I didn't like the key characters that were introduced in this story. So if I don't like the people that I'm following, how can you expect me to love them and want to protect them, and in this world that makes no sense? And I wanted to know things about the rest of outer London, because this is all based in London. It's all about London. What's going on outside London that he just never answers. And why won't you answer that? I got so frustrated, and I didn't like how it kept on contradicting itself. And yeah, characters were just wooden and bad. So it's We See Everything by William Sutcliffe. So number one, because this is a book that I never finished. It's the only book that I didn't finish in 2020. And it's Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I had read All the Bright Places and by Jennifer, which I really liked. I thought it was a really decent novel. But then I came to read this about a girl who was extremely overweight, going to high school after she had lost a load of weight, and a boy who has a condition where, I can't remember the name of it, but it's where you can look at someone, look away and turn back, and then you can't remember ever seeing their face before, even though you just saw it less than a minute ago. And they meet, and it's all about them. I got through 60 pages of this book, and I just didn't like anyone in it. I didn't like the setup, the premise, the look. It just went no in my head. This is not good. So, sorry, Jennifer, you're number one because I didn't finish the book. So those are my 5 worst books of the year. From 5 to 1, we have Mary Shelley, Perfume, Ink, We See Everything, and Holding Up the Universe. So those were my 5 worst. What were the 5 best? Well, here we go. This was really easy for me to pick these out because, damn, these were so bloody awesome and everyone should read them, I think. So at number 5, it's A Kestrel for a Knave by Barry Hines, the story of a boy who trains a kestrel, telling the hardships of life for the poor in northern England in the 70s. And I fell head over heels in love with this book. It was so beautiful. It was so sad. It was so true and pure and hard and mesmerizing and beautiful. I'm astonished by this book. Absolutely astonished by it. I can't believe I hadn't read it before. But this is so wonderful a book. So hard to read, but so worth it. So number 5, it's A Kestrel for a Knave. And number 4, because I just loved it so much, it's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I fell head over heels in love with this book. This book I got recommended on Facebook book club I'm a member of. Loads of people were reading it, so I thought I'd give it a go since everyone in the book club was raving about it, and my god, it didn't disappoint. And I still have a great love for Evelyn. I want to read this book over and over and over again. It's not leaving my bookcase anytime soon. Loved every single second. So it's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo at number 4. At number 3, this was so hard, but I had to do it. I'm sorry, guys. It's 3 books have taken number 3 spot because it's a trilogy. It's the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. That's A Discovery of Witches, Shadow of Night, and The Book of Life. Technically, I did rank these 3 books as from worst to best as being 2, 3, 1, but in my overall I couldn't split them up across the top 5, so I was like, well, they're just gonna, people who are watching this video are just gonna have to accept that number 3 is an entire trilogy, because this story of Diana and Matthew and what happens with them, a modern fantasy trilogy set in Oxford, which expands hundreds of years, was a joy to read. And it hit me. I picked this up and read it at the perfect moment that I needed it. And it didn't disappoint. I absolutely adored it. So at number 3 is Deborah Harkness's All Souls trilogy. Now, number 2 might surprise people. It might surprise people because people probably think this is going to be my number 1, but it's not. Number 2, it's Troubled Blood by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling, the 5th Strike novel. This was, I said, and I still stand by it, it's, I think, the best Cormoran Strike book and J.K.'s best book ever. I devoured this book, and I was astonished by how she came up with the story, the complexity, everything about it was beautiful and stunning. And these books, these 5 books, are ones that will live in my gut, in my heart, in my soul. And you know, Strike and Robin are very, very important to me, so this was going to be automatically very high. But for the way that she has told this highly complex story, which is a cold case, so obviously there's a lot of back in time and everything kind of elements in there, that is a very hard thing to do. And the way that she did it in such a simple, elegant manner, and the way that she pulled the rug out from under you, oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it's number 2. That is number 2, guys. Usually any JK book, when since I've done this channel, has been drawn with number 1. But number 1 for 2020 was one which, after I read it, it still stays with me. I still think about it every day. It lived on my book, on my bedside table for about, I think, 3 months after I read it, because I couldn't put it away, because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that is The Five by Hallie Rubenhold, The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper. This completely ripped my heart to shreds. This completely consumed me. Ever since I've read this, every documentary that I have seen, every book reference to Jack the Ripper that I've come across, I have been disgusted by the way that they have talked about his victims as if they're nothing. They have truly become the footnote of their own deaths, and it's believed that they were all prostitutes and such. That is crap. Read this book and you will know the truth about them. And I am so thankful that Hallie Rubenhold has published this book, that she has educated me about something that I was told, you know, when I was young and I first learned about Jack the Ripper, I was told, oh, for certain these women were prostitutes, da 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 da. That is the truth. No, it's not the truth. She has taken something that we have put in a box as being legitimate and ripped the top off the box and gone, really? She shined a light on it, and she did it in such a beautiful, respectful manner. She never talks about Jack the Ripper in this book. He is nothing. They have become a footnote of their own deaths, and then in this book she makes Jack the footnote, because they are the important. They were women, they were mothers, they were daughters. They went through so much stuff, and we should be hearing their voices. We should be listening to who they were. And I want to thank Hallie so much for writing this book, because it lives in my heart and soul now. I still can't look at the photos of them after they've been killed. I can't go there, because I know what Annie went through. I know Annie is the first one who comes whenever I think of Jack the Ripper now. Annie's story is the one that comes first, and I'm feeling emotional now talking about her again. I cried when I did my review of it, and I still feel that. So, Hallie, thank you. You are my number 1 read of 2020. So, see if I can pick all these up. So my top 5 of 2020 was A Kestrel for a Knave, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, The All Souls trilogy, Troubled Blood, and The Five. So there we go. My best and worst reads of 2020. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm going to be back shortly to show you what my plan is for 2021, and I really hope you like it. I've been really excited for this, so yeah, stay tuned. And if you've got any thoughts on any of those books that I've discussed, please let me know. Leave me a comment in the comments box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you later. Bye.